Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Gretchen.
and
And
this
this
is
is
Control
Control
Alt
Alt
Delete
Delete
RV.
RV.
Hello, and welcome to our channel. We're glad you're here. So, what is Control Alt Delete RV really all about? How did we get here? Well, we were just like everybody else, working 50 plus hours a week, taking vacations every 4 years or so, and really just working a whole lot more than most people are happy with. We decided to stop living for things and to live for more experiences. We wanted to experience more in life and have less stuff while doing it. So we sold our house, most of what we owned, and had packed into that place in 20 plus years and hit the road full time in an RV. In essence, we did a reboot of our life. We hit Control Alt Delete. I brought this idea up about 4 years ago. As our kids were starting to grow up, move out, go to college, and started leaving home, we had more and more empty rooms. Just an empty house altogether. We used about a third of it, if that,
Maybe.
on most days. As empty nesters, we wanted to make better decisions with what we were doing with our time. Sitting in front of the TV every night, watching shows until bedtime, this wasn't that exciting anymore. Just to get up the next day, go to work, come home, and do it all over again.
All over again.
We wanted more experiences and less stuff. So that's why we decided to live a full time RV life. To cast it all away, load up what we had left, and hit the road and see what the country had to offer. I daydreamed about this many years ago, back when I was a teenager, let's put it that way.
Many years ago.
And this was just something that I always wanted to do. I thought it would be really cool and a neat opportunity to actually get out there and see the country, not just one city and one state and a few places here and there during vacations. I wanted to see as much as possible. So life was giving us the opportunity to make this dream come true.
It did take a little bit of convincing on my part to get me on board with this idea. We were just very used to, very much in that rut of the daily grind of going to work and kids and all that goes with it. But I had always wanted to travel. There's all kinds of places that I want to go see. Still, we have a list. um, and just the way we were living didn't really allow for that. You know, it was hard to get long periods of time off from work to be able to travel and spend the amount of time that we really wanted to in all these different places. But I mean, in theory, it sounded awesome, but it was a lot of work to get here. A lot of steps in the process to downsize, get rid of all of those things and that stuff we'd accumulated over many years. So, a little bit about us. We are both originally from Ohio, born and raised. I grew up in eastern Ohio, and Kevin grew up in northern Ohio. We've been married for almost 12 years now and have 6 kids between us. I have 3 daughters, and Kevin has 2 sons and a daughter. And we now have 3 grandbabies, which are fantastic.
All boys
All
so
boys.
far.
He's very excited about that all boy thing.
We were outnumbered.
Oh, just a little bit.
We were living the American dream, working 50 plus hours a week, taking vacations when they fit in every few years or so, just really running tired of the daily grind. Same thing day in, day out, same drive to work, same drive home, same grocery store, same places over and over and over again. So we wanted to change all that. I think that was one of the biggest things about doing this was change. What were we going to do to make our lives better, to make them more exciting as it became just the two of us, no longer having a household full of children. We really needed to do something for us to just kind of throw caution to the wind to some extent and go out and try to do something that we really hadn't done before. So before we launched, I was a director of property operations for an international hospitality company and had been in an upper management position for several years and really just was kind of growing tired. Uh,
Burnout.
it was wearing me out.
And I've been a nurse for 17 years. I had worked my way up to a clinical manager position at our local hospital. But like we said, we were both just getting real burnout with the management positions and everything that went with that. Pretty much on call 24/7. You know, your time really wasn't your own because you were forever getting a text message from somebody or a phone call with an issue that you needed to deal with.
An email.
An email.
Yeah. There were several nights, it was hard for me to get to sleep because I knew all the things I had to do the next day, so I was constantly thinking about it. It was almost like work overload.
Right. So that in itself was one of the big reasons that we made this decision and decided to just pull the trigger on it. Getting us out of that stressful work environment where we could just enjoy the day to day and enjoy life.
And no, we're not retired or rich by any means. We still work while we're out here traveling on the road. I'm currently working on setting up a consulting business while we're out here on the road in my background, in my field. And I also do day trading. So I'm actively trading the stock markets, which is actually new to me and is something I've learned and taught myself once we got out here on the road. There's actually a lot of opportunities to work while you're out on the road.
And I now do travel nursing, so that's a big perk with my profession. I can have that flexibility. But I do 13-week contracts, so we're in one location for a 13-week contract, so we really get a chance to explore each area and find all those cool local spots when you talk to people in the campgrounds and make friends and get suggestions of places to go and things you need to see while you're here. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, like Gretchen said, being in an area this long, it does give us a great opportunity to kind of get out there and find those secrets of the local areas. Some things that may be overlooked because they're not advertised as good by the local council as tourist attractions. Now, don't get me wrong, we still do go to a lot of the tourist sites and tourist attractions and stuff like that because they're neat and we want to see them. They're cool places to be. Some of our favorites for the local spots that we really search out are restaurants, breweries, and distilleries. We really enjoy craft beer. Uh, we've enjoyed it for several years, so we tend to search out places that make locally based craft beers and local distilleries. It really gives us an opportunity to try the local flavor along with the restaurants. So we get to find all those neat little places and those little mom and pop shops and those little out of the way areas that you may miss in a week trip on vacation because you're trying to hit all the major things that are advertised much better.
Which is why after vacation you're always exhausted.
Exactly. You never get that time to slow down and actually enjoy it. By traveling this way, we actually get to spend more time in an area and find those places. Our travel style is kind of a hybrid. Because of Gretchen's 13-week contracts, we're in an area for usually 14 weeks. There's, a little extra time at the front and the back of the contract. And then it may be another month or so, or 2 weeks, or 2 months between her next contract and where we're at now. So then we get to travel where we want to a different location, a different site, spend a week, go to another spot, spend another week, spend 2 weeks somewhere. So we kind of do the hybrid travel. We're not always moving. Sometimes we're in a spot long term, and other times we're kind of jumping around doing that weekly stay at different areas that we want to check off the list and have the experience of actually getting to stop and see it.
Right, because you always have to keep in the back of your mind when we're here for 13 weeks or 14 weeks in one spot. You can't live in that vacation mindset, or you're going to be, your bank account's going to be empty real quick.
And you're going to be tired.
That too. So when he says that we kind of throw places in between, we kind of think of those as our vacations, and then this is just our everyday living.
Mm-hmm. And just to put it out there, before we did all this, we had never been camping in an RV.
Never.
We had taken the kids tent camping and had rented cabins and taken the kids there as they were growing up. But we'd never actually owned an RV and gone camping in one prior to this. So,
Call us crazy.
some of that caution to the wind there. So we went to YouTube. We watched a lot of programs. A lot of different channels out there have a lot of great information. We did a lot of research on what RVs we might like, what type of RVs might fit what we were going to do, and what we were going to need to actually be able to make that RV operate as it was supposed to. So lots and lots of research, a few Excel sheets,
A few. A lot.
maybe a few more than a few.
So we went to a lot of dealerships, like locally in our area, a lot of different RV shows that we could get to, and literally looked at dozens and dozens of all different RVs, from Class A's to fifth wheels to travel trailers to just kind of, a lot of times you have to get inside of one to really get a feel for whether that's a place you could live or not, because it is vastly different from living in your house.
And if the shower's big enough.
Yeah, I highly recommend creating a must-have list, like things you absolutely have to have in your RV before you purchase it. One of those was a shower for me. I wanted to be able to put my arms up, wash my hair without cracking my elbows. And sometimes that's kind of hard to come by. A lot of RV showers are very small. But we eventually landed on a Class A motorhome, which was not what we were leaning towards initially. But it ended up being just right for us. The floor plan was great. We loved it. But we'll do an RV tour in an upcoming video.
Our goal for this channel is to be able to share videos with useful information to help those with the same dream to achieve it a little bit easier. All you empty nesters out there that are looking to experience more of what life has to offer now, as opposed to waiting till retirement. Through this channel, we'll share videos, tips and tricks, places we've been, things we've seen, and motorcycle rides. We own a Harley Davidson Fat Boy. We absolutely love to get out and ride.
Definitely.
It's one of our favorite pastimes. We'll post videos up of different rides and perhaps routes. And by all means, if we're in an area and you're following along and you've got a suggestion for a place to take a ride, drop it in the comments, let us know.
For sure.
We're always looking for a great ride. So be sure to follow along with us on our journey of this life rebooted.
We look forward to sharing with all of you. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.